Just me and you.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, so I would like to welcome you today to Rig Run Recovery Zone. My name is Sarah and I'm a fitness advisor with Rig Run, and today we have our guest Tamara, who will be taking us through a short Pilates routine. So please feel free to post any questions in the chat and we'll get back to them towards the end. But for now, I'm going to hand you over to Tamara. All yours.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Sarah. Hello, everyone. My name is Tamara. I will be your instructor for today, who will go through the basic Pilates movement, or like most important principle of Pilates. Pilates is really good for me for 3 ways. The first is really build the awareness about the body alignment. Okay, so when I'm going to speak about something, I'm going to show you as well. So when a body alignment, if something is not in alignment, some part of the body can struggle. Okay, you put too much pressure on the joints, some muscles get very stiff, very tight, and some muscles get very weak. So the body alignment, when everything, the weight of the body spread evenly, is very important. And normally, because nowadays we're sitting so much or doing only one sport, then it's put really a lot of pressure on some kind of muscles and weaken another one. So body alignment awareness is very important to learn what it is and how it should to be. And Pilates is the best way how to learn that. So the body alignment, I know right now you don't see my face, but what we're trying to do, we're trying to stand feet hips apart. Why this feet hips apart? Because if you're standing too wide, then all this working is your legs. And actually I can completely relax my core. So it's very important, really narrow that legs, because it's going to be hips apart. So it's really working the core and the legs evenly. Okay, so it's very important. So your feet hips apart. Another thing very important, we need to find this balance. And when we're learning, it's very important to understand it should be our weight should be on the middle of your foot. So how you find this middle of the foot? You're trying to move your body forward and slightly move the back. So you're a little bit like a swinging. You can see that swinging forward and back. So I see my body as well learning how the weight is shifting. Okay, so going forward in my toes, I put a lot of pressure on some joints on my legs, maybe on my knees, my toes, mostly on my knees because it's front one. Behind is a little bit more putting my lower back. So it's very important we find exactly weight spreading evenly and you're staying on the middle of your foot. So you're trying to minimize the movement till you find the weight exactly on the middle of the foot. This is perfect. Another thing is very important. Your knees should be nice and soft. There's another issue. Some people is hypermobile, so it's very important keep your knees nice and soft. Yes, softening your knees. We can lock in position. This is locked. This is bent, and soft. It's completely gentle. You can see it not having any locking position on your knees. So nice and soft knees. Perfect. Now we put in the shoulders, okay? Mostly because all day the gravity pulling the body down, and sometimes we're sitting and really by the end of the night we can look like this. It's because of the gravity, of course. So it's very important to extend yourself. So imagine that behind you like a hook. You put yourself shoulders on a hook. So your shoulders will go up and down on a hook. Okay, so the movement, not just squeezing your shoulder blades, you actually lift them up and pulling them down. Good, we continue. Now we're going to move into your neck. It's always possible to slightly extend your neck and your spine. So imagine somebody pulling from the top, nice and tall. So your arms driving down, nice and long neck, and the spine as well. Try to extend it. Imagine somebody pulling you from the top, nice and long. Again, we double check. Your feet nice and flat, your knees nice and soft, your shoulders on a hook, and keep your shoulders far away from your ears. Now we double check, your ears should be always level of your shoulders. There is another issue, obviously, because computers, laptops, mobile, our neck is moving forward. Yeah, this is really heavy to hold just on your neck. So we need to make sure we keep the ears a level of your shoulders. So they have same line, exactly same. Try to extend your ears level of your shoulder. You're standing nice and beautiful and tall. Perfect. This is our alignment. So your feet across and the hips are apart. It can be standing position, it can be sitting position on your office chair. Anywhere is the best position to working on your core and working on your legs. Shoulders on a hook is protecting our shoulders, it stabilizes the spine. The ears level of your shoulders, you're standing nice and beautiful tall. So always double check and always really like try to repeat over and over again and practicing. Remember, from the beginning, maybe it's not gonna go so well, but in the future, your body is learning. Your muscles are learning how to stand. It will get easier and easier. Most important, just keep practicing. It's very important. After that, when you set up body alignment, we start to engaging your core. Okay, the core. How the core normally we used to say is like six-pack, but actually the core is like a corset all around here. It's your lower back, it's your side and your middle. This muscle is very important because even like you're thinking, you connect this one, the middle, connect your upper body with your lower body. So it's on the middle. If on the middle helping for happening disbalance, the body is just moving to the right or the left. So it's really not stabilized. And then some joints is really struggling. So if one side is weaker, it's big chance as well. So you actually really put pressure on one side more than another. And exactly the same. So it's very important, stabilization of full your body. It's actually over your corset on the middle. So this muscle is very important. Of course, as well, very important, the core on the front as well protect all your organs. This is actually the layer which protect all the organs in the middle. Very important. Behind, it's going to protect your lower back. Okay, so it's very important. This muscle is working and keep it nice and strong. So how we engage in the core? Normally, the people or instructors always you hear very often, they tell you engage in your core, engage in your core. But nobody actually never explain what does it mean actually engage in the core. How is to do, what the feeling how to engage, what is she to do. Normally when I ask the clients or participate, engage in the core, what they do, pull the belly button in and they can't breathe and hold the breath. It actually doesn't work like that, like this. You put a lot of pressure on your abdominals. So how we engage in the core? So explain you very easy language. Imagine the jeans. Actually the jeans, I know, sound very funny right now. So we're gonna the jeans, you put them in washing machine. Now we put them in the dryer. You know, they get very tight. It's always these jeans. Okay, we managed to get in, and now we're trying to close the zipper. And really what we do, you really pull it from the bottom, your belly button in to close the zipper. So exactly same feeling. It's exactly same feeling on engaging the core. So you really zip it. Okay, so first normally how we need to teach your body to engage the core or close the zipper, but right percentage. So normally we advise to engage your core during exercise only around 30–50%, no more than that, because you put a lot of abdominal pressure. So when you actually do some exercises, is actually pressure going out, and you pull in the corset, same like imagine the belt, and you make it very tight and really make tight from the outside, and from inside is pulling out. It can be too much for your abdominals. It can do some damage as well. So it's the reason we're engaging only 30–50%. So how we do that? And we need to teach the body what is 30–50%. So how we do that? Imagine a zipper. So let's go together. We're closing the zipper. We close the zipper. So first you're going to close the zipper 100%. Let's go have a look. So we close the zipper 100%. Good. And release the body. And you see as well how your body alignment actually changing. When my core actually relaxes, I actually look like that. It's perfect. But when I engage in my core, zip it, you can see my alignment is changing because this corset is holding me. So it's very important. So close it, and I'm really closing the zipper 100%. Perfect. And release. Really good. Now we're going to do exactly the same, but we're going to engage only close the zipper only 50%. So let's go close the zipper 50%, only halfway. So it's easy to understand. What was 100, you understand your body really now the feeling of 100. Now we're trying to explain the body what is 50. I know sometimes your brain understands that, but the body needs time to learn as well, especially if it's something you beginner, you're just starting, completely basic. The muscles need the time to learn. We have this muscular memory. The body needs time to learn. So exactly same here, you need to teach it. So it's the reason to put 100, release, 50%, release, and then we engage only 30%. Perfect. So engage in the 30%. Again, one more time going through the body alignment. Your feet, hips are apart, your knees nice and soft, your shoulders on a hook, you're standing nice and beautiful and tall, your shoulders far away from your ears. Your core engaged 30%. So this core right now, first of all, even right now I'm standing, I don't need to do a lot of exercise. It's as easy exercise right now. It is, I'm working my core already, because it's stabilizing my upper body, it's connect my upper body and lower body, and it's really stabilized all this here. So I'm really engaging and working on my core, even just standing. How simple is that? We can work on your core by watching TV, by sitting on laptop. We can work on your core all the time. You just need to engage 30% and just holding this position. Another thing is very important. It's actually breathing. General, of course, is important. But on Pilates, it's two important why it's important. The first one, the breathing actually connects with all the system in your body. This is very important to understand. All system in your body connect, they need oxygen, okay? So it's the reason we need to breathe. It's connected with your breathing, with the rhythm of your breathing. So when we're breathing faster, then it's really increasing our heart rate, and it's actually can switch on some hormones like adrenaline. So it's very important. If you, for example, have panic attack, they always tell you slow down your breathing, start to breathe, listen to your breathing, and it helps us actually because it's connected your whole system in your body. It's helping to relax. So breathing is very important for relaxation. Very important for relaxation. So if sometimes on Pilates, for example, we are doing some positions can be very uncomfortable because Pilates is strengthening some muscles, special small muscles in your body, and some muscles need to be lengthening. When we're lengthening, it's more like a flexibility exercise, mobility exercise. When we do that, it's very important to relax, because if your body, of course, in tension, because actually it's a good thing, because the body trying to protect you by tensing, it's trying not to let you go because it thinks it's dangerous. So you, that moment, need to breathe. Breathe and let your body to adjust, to understand it's safe, you're safe, this position is not dangerous for me, by breathing. How we breathe on Pilates? On Pilates normally we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, and as well, just keep practicing. It's maybe not working first time, second time, maybe like for a month. It depends how, of course, you're practicing, how thick your body. It's very individual how body is learning. So it's very important. Take your time. All you're trying, always take your time. Okay, as much as you need. Somebody have do 4 steps forward, 1 step back. Somebody 2 steps forward, 1 back. Please take your own speed to learning something new without the stress, with too much stress. So yeah, we're breathing in through the nose, out from the mouth like blowing the candle. Just keep practicing and take your body. In the future, you'll start actually quite natural. As well, very important, when you breathe, you make sure you don't breathe from the chest. Okay, because as well as really, it's put tension on the body. Okay, so the chest is look like this. This is chest. So really, you're trying to breathe from the lungs, so from the bottom of your rib cage. So this is here our lungs. So you're trying to breathe from the lungs. So you're gonna breathe in and out through the mouth, and always like you're blowing the candle, more control. So when you breathe in through your nose, out from the mouth like blowing the candle, you're breathing from the lungs. How you can check as well you're breathing from the lungs? Because you need to teach your body, you need to understand, especially if you don't have an instructor who can adjust you and you're working on yourself, front of the mirror, how you know you're breathing from the lungs, okay? Or not from the shoving. So you can always put your arms on the middle of your rib cage. I like more this position, so really up the bottom rib cage. I feel my rib cage. And I'm gonna breathe in through your nose, out through the mouth like blowing the candle, and you as well can see as well on the camera how my bottom of the rib cage expanded and returning to the starting position. So like I say, you breathe in through your nose, out from the mouth, like blowing the candle. So it's very important. In through your nose, out from the mouth, like blowing the candle. Remember, at the same time, when you're breathing, your core engaged. It's close 30%. So actually, when you breathe in and out, you shouldn't just see any movement around your abdominals because you hold it. It's more with a movement somewhere around your bottom of your rib cage, but not so much around your abdominals. So it's very important you keep holding that core and breathing, which actually quite hard because it's not natural. We don't breathe like this. First of all, it's not natural, and second, most of the time your belly is relaxed, and sometimes we are holding the breath, which actually as well not so good. It's depends what you're doing, you know, like on this trend actually we need sometimes to really inhale and hold. It's going to protect our abdominals and lower back. But on the Pilates, because we really focus on the core, so it's very important you breathe in through your nose, out from the mouth, like blowing the candle. First, like I say, relaxation when you're stretching, but very important for Pilates, it's because we're working on the core by breathing. Why? Because we work in very deep abdominals. We have different layer of abdominals. We have top layer, side, and under. Okay, so it's very important that deep abdominals. We're calling as well this foot belly. So foot belly, when really can hold this foot at the belly, this is working deep abdominal muscles. So it's the reason how we're working on the deep abdominal muscles by breathing. So when we engage in the core 30% and you breathe in through your nose, out from the mouth, the blowing the candle. So what's happening? Imagine here you're like a balloon. You're going to breathe in and breathe out. You empty the balloon, and then actually not balloon holding you on the middle, but actually here is your core working very hard to hold yourself. Because when we inflate, breathe in, actually really it's quite easy to hold because this inflated lung with oxygen is holding me. But we need to empty the lungs and make sure your core engaged is not popping out. So really hold it at the core, and then it's contracting, it's working very deep abdominal muscles. So it's very important. So this three principles very important, and as well as teaching. And if you're really basing any kind of sport, but Pilates actually really focus on to these principles of the alignment, your breathing and your core engagement, then actually it's impact all kind of sports on the cycling, running, it can be weightlifting, you actually using all this principle, all exercises. But Pilates just give you like teaching awareness about this, so it's very important to actually learn it because it's actually all important and basic of all everything, you know, like so it's body alignment, so we don't really put impact too much on some joints and actually spreading the evenly around the body, the weights or the weight, normalize the weight of the body. Another thing as well, your breathing. Yeah, breathing, like I say, it helps us to relax. Relaxation really good. Mindfulness, it's really relaxing. It's really working because it's connected with all your system in your body, your hormonal system and everything. So breathing helps you to relax. So it's really important to breathe, like more natural, more relaxing, but very deep. In through your nose, out through the mouth, like blowing the candle. And as well, like I say, breathing is very important to work very deep abdominal muscles under the layer. So it's really important. And the last thing, of course, is the alignment and core engagement, of course. Your core engagement, like I say, the zipper. So these three things, when actually you really get really good on these three things, then you start adding something. It don't need to be Pilates, it can be yoga even, it can be cycling, it can be running, anything. You can do actually any kind of sport. The difference on the Pilates as well, Pilates working on very small muscles. Normally we have big muscle group and we have small one. When you do complex exercise, weightlifting, like a deadlifting, bench press, something very like when we engage in more muscles, more joints same time, it's most the complex exercise. It's really good for for burning the calories, for building the muscles. So you really do this complex exercise in the short time period, as long, of course, your technique is really good. So this is very important, yeah. So but on this exercise, complex exercise, we work in big muscles, but the small muscles, which actually the body help to more stabilize the body, small muscles. Normal on the big movement is not get involved. So we need the small exercise like Pilates, stabilization exercise, which help you with the small muscle in your body. So body, all the small muscles help us stabilize. When you do any exercises, it helps us to prevent any injuries because it's stabilization muscles. And they're working very well on Pilates, the small muscle in your body. Okay, so really this is another benefit of Pilates. And of course, Pilates working on the core, a lot of the core as well. All the core set, I would say like a core set in the middle is really aiming to improve the core. It's actually focused because, of course, on different kind of sport, we focus something else. But on the Pilates, really focus on abdominal stabilization because it's like I said before, it's help to stabilize your upper and lower body. And a last thing is very important as well. Pilates help you as well to keep this awareness like on alignment. So another thing as well, it's very important on Pilates. I like Pilates because we work here on the core set. This core set as well, the closest muscles as well from the bottle, it's our pelvic muscles. Okay, so here we have muscles as well, okay, which are connected to our pelvic. And I've always been saying, if you have control of this pelvic, so this bone here, it's a whole like this, the bone look like this under. So if you control of these muscles, you actually have control of your lower back. Okay, so mobility of your pelvic is very important, and sometimes we're losing this mobility because we don't use something. And the body working very simple. Body, if you don't use something, it get rid of that because it's think you don't need it. So if you don't use flexibility, mobility, it gets rid of that. If you don't challenge your heart and muscles of your heart, it's as well getting weaker. If you don't use the muscle in your body don't understand it, you don't need it, it gets rid of that. So it's very important to find this balance in your life, to overloading everything and using full body, all directions, because if not, it gets rid of that. Okay, so it's very important to use the body all directions. And exactly what do Pilates? And using the body all directions. It's working a lot with the spine as well. We're using a flexion extension, so really good exercise as well to work in mobility of your spine. It's flexion extension. So we're standing on the side. We're gonna roll one. We're trying to go one vertebrae at a time down towards to the floor, and you're trying to go to the C shape. So you drop chin to the chest, you roll your shoulders, and really one vertebrae at a time. You're trying to extend. It's really actually very releasing. Release all the muscle in your spine. You're trying to hang in position somewhere and around your knees. We're not trying to go very low, and we're trying not to hinge back. We're trying to keep in line, and then it's opening all the muscles behind. So spine working exactly like this, one vertebrae at a time and one vertebrae up. So this mobility is very important. Maintain. If you don't maintain this mobility of your spine, then of course the gravity, the sitting, you're not using this mobility, is get very stiff. And I always say your spine like a second brain. It's connected to, again, to all the body, all your nerves is going through the spine. So it's very important to keep this mobility. Okay, and as well as holding, it's help us to hold upright. Okay, so it's very important to keep it mobile. And Pilates is moving amazingly to mobility of your spine. Like I say, flexion extension, one vertebrae at a time. I'll open right now each my vertebrae, and then same, one vertebrae at a time. I close my lower back, middle back, upper back. Pull your shoulders on a hook. I remind my body always returning to the natural alignment. Okay, so this is very important. And again, this is really good exercise to practicing to really work on mobility of your spine. And now as well, really good exercises as well. We have rotation, for example. We have rotation when we actually rotate the spine. So I step slightly back so you can see actually my hips. Very important, I always say, we don't use the spine designed for rotation. We don't use the spine for rotation. Because we don't use for rotation, we're overusing some another joints. Sometimes it can be neck, we're turning too much on your neck, but most of the time, it's actually your knees. So every time you see you turning the hips to the right, to the left, and your foot staying straight, I'm actually using my knees for rotation. My knees don't design for rotation. My spine designed for rotation. So it's the reason as well, one of the reasons we have injuries of your knees, because we're overusing, which movement we shouldn't use, but actually we need to use in rotation. So how we focus on rotation on your spine, so not losing that. So imagine that, so your hip should be forward. Your arms position, I like this praying position. I draw the line, my nose in line on my hands in the middle, shoulders on the hook. And then I rotate the spine on the side. Make sure my hips is not moving. So I keep rotation. And I'm trying to do this every day. So I don't lose this rotation, which is very important movement during the day. So I'm not using my knees and I have good range of motion on my spine. So this is another thing. So flexion, extension on the way down, and extension of rotation of your spine. Like I said, Pilates, we're working a lot with the spine. Another thing as well, like I said before, your pelvic, yeah? So the pelvic, normally we're trying to keep a pelvic natural position. Natural position, very safe position when we're standing, sitting, when we are doing anything actually, the spine should be in natural position. Only we're doing as well in Pilates, we're calling imprinting position, and as well the pelvic tilt back, only when we're doing all core exercise on the floor. So actually when you do all exercise on the floor, you should have imprinting position when you're working on your abdominals, to protect your lower back and actually maximum work on your core. So what you normally do, so natural position, I like to put the arms on my, this is always easy language try to use. This is a bucket of water. I put my arms on my bucket of water. I hold the bucket of water. Do you see, when I bucket of water, you can see this is straight line here. So water inside the bucket, this is most, the position how it should be spine and pelvic look when we're standing, sitting, doing any kind of sport. Water inside your bucket. Water in front of you, we never do this. This is caused our lordosis, okay? And like I say, some muscles get weaker, something is stronger or tighter. So it's the reason it's very important. We never do this water front of you. No, any exercise, nothing to avoid. Water front of you, you see this finger is lower than this. This is causing our sometimes lordosis. You see this little arch of your lower back. So water inside your bucket, this is position when it's natural position. Water behind, when I'm trying to tilt my pelvic, and the front finger is higher than finger behind. So sometimes it's very important during the day, we're actually practicing and keep mobility of your spine by so simple exercise by pelvic tilt back, natural position in front. This is keeping mobility on my spine, and it's actually really good to release any tension on your lower back. So if you have any lower back issue, I really advise to do this pelvic tilt, work on mobility of your pelvic, so release that lower back, and as well working mobility of your spine, and working on rotation, working on your alignment, working on your breathing, and working on your core. And like I said, all this impacts all your life. It's impacts all kind of sports you do, and as well it's all these things actually do Pilates. Is the reason I so much love Pilates, because it's so beneficial, especially I think in 21st century. Thank you very much for your attention. And the Sarah should come back. Yeah, here we are.
Back at her now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she is. I was thinking, oh my God, she is.
That's very informative, Tamara. Thank you very much. I had some questions for you, but I think that you've actually answered them all.
If you have some, you're welcome to ask. Did we maybe miss something?
Yeah, I don't think so. I just think that you would agree that Pilates is often the missing link in improving our sport performance and also preventing our injury as well. It's really important for our mindfulness and being aware of how our body moves and learning how our body moves as well. So yeah, that was.
I know, Sarah, as well. You yourself, you are a runner. So how do you think it's actually helping doing the running? All this principle on the Pilates. What do you think of your just personal opinion?
Yeah, well, personally, when you're running, your posture is very important. And I think that when it makes you very aware of that when you're out and about, to be able to stand up tall and open up your chest, allow you to breathe properly, not to slump with your back rounded, can reduce your lower back pain. And also, if your hips and your trunk are in the right position, it allows your leg cycle to travel as it should as well. So it can definitely improve your running performance, and it definitely reduces your chances of injury too. It's good that Pilates is something that you can do in a very confined space as well. It's something that if you're offshore or in your cabin, you don't need any equipment to do it either. And, 10, 15 minutes, a couple of times a week can make a huge difference. So.
Yeah, it's perfect. Exactly. I didn't think about this. Definitely. Yeah, you can do anywhere actually. You need a little square on the floor place, even standing position. Yeah, you actually don't need nothing. And it's working full body workout, working your core. So yeah, definitely agree with you.
Absolutely. So, well, thank you very much, Tamara, and thank you very much to you all for joining us on this webinar. And we'll end it there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you all later on in our Rigor on Recovery zone. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you, Sarah, for hosting that. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, she's gonna come.